All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to start off by giving all praises and blessings to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakaha Kodash. All right, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the elect men of Yasharallah, scattered across the four corners of the planet Earth, who are teaching this word in truth and in sincerity. Shalom and peace to the sisters, the princesses, all right, the daughters of Zion, all right, scattered across the four corners of the planet Earth, okay? And you do not have to be teaching men, the scriptures, but you can be doing other things, hey, you can be helpful in a whole, lot of other areas, okay? You could, assist brothers with um, credible news articles. You could, talk and influence women who are not in the truth, as much as you can, okay, without being aggressive or, overbearing, okay? Talk to other women who are, about the truth and, give them a little bit, don't, you know, you know when you women kind of talk to people, you kind of throw the whole kitchen sink at them. All right, first you have to kind of test you know if where they are, man. Okay. uh you know and so you women influence, you know you can put some of your influence on some of these two-third women, okay, who may be uh, you know, seeking, salvation. Okay, you can, lead them down, lead them to the truth. All right. Um, you know, uh, help, help your sisters. All right. Uh, pursue, you know, if they're trying to, make garments or, do cookbooks. All right. It's a lot of things that you sisters can do besides, teaching. All right. The scriptures to men. All right. So, with that being said, I want to start off with this scriptures, and this is Acts 17 and 11. It says, these were more notable, Salakia, these were more noble than those in Thessalonica, in that they received the word with all readiness of mind and searched the scriptures daily, whether those things were so. Okay. And, you have to, you know, hey, this is the gospel, man. Okay. There is no better gospel. A lot of you Jakes, you still listening to gospel music. And, if you're still listening to gospel music, man, you're bugged out. Gospel music is bugged out, man. Okay. It's more bugged out than rap music. Okay. Because no matter what, you do, man, I hear gospel music and I know that the creator of that gospel song had Caesar Borgia in mind, all right, throughout that whole song. Okay. And so you're singing something that Jake made for his Stay Puff Marshmallow God. All right. Um. So that gospel music is totally off, man. Okay. Now if it's some Israelite gospel melodies, okay, that's better. When they them saying something Yahweh Shai, but that Christian gospel, Salakia, that Crispin gospel, Christian, Christian gospel is just bugged out, man. All right, and so a lot of a lot of people out there, man. Whether it's your grandmother, whoever some of you reverencing people. You hold reverence to people who don't even open the book, okay? Even open and study the scriptures, all right? But you have men, all right, starting from the apostles and elders on down who have been uh, in these scriptures every day, okay? Every day. And me, personally being one of those people, man, all right? Uh, some in some form or fashion, all right? Uh, you know, uh, Trying to, figure things out, uh, you know, uh, on a daily, using the scriptures as a daily guide, okay, in this walk, man, because on a daily level, you know, we are faced with decisions and tribulations that we go through on a daily level. Okay, we're still yet in our captivity, very much so. Okay, and so we need to be in these scriptures, in which a lot of Jakes, your grandmother, these other YouTube Hebrew Israelite groups, okay, they're not in these scriptures every single day, but yet they have an opinion. Yet a lot of people have an opinion. All right. So, uh, with that being said, and moving on, um, the next thing that I want to bring up, all right. Um, let me see. Let me see. Um, Think of a keyword. Um, Let me put that in there. All right, this is Proverbs 22:7. All right, and it says, "The rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender." Okay, now we talk about people in the entertainment industry, the music industry, before about the way that they live their life, okay, and they live their life under the false pretense that they are rich, and I'm talking about so-called Israelites, okay, whether you are a Southern Kingdom or Northern Kingdom, Okay. Um, People like from Jay-Z on down to people like Floyd Mayweather. All right. Um, they're under the false pretense that they are rich. Okay. Um, um, when that is the farthest thing from the truth, just because they have an accumulation, all right, of this debt note, okay, um, they're under that false pretense, okay, um, and so the rich ruled over the poor, okay, and who are the rich? The rich are these elites of the so-called white people, all right. The rich are the so-called white people, all right. Esau, Edom, if you were, all right. And the borrower is servant to the lender. We are always borrowing as Hebrew Israelites, okay, because we use a debt note, which is a dollar bill. So there's a price for how much each dollar bill costs, okay. And so Esau has created it to where you will always, if you are a so-called Negro, Hispanic, or Native American, you will always be the borrower in this system, and they will always be the lender. Now, where did this start? Okay, where did this start? Now, let me. I want to pause it real quick. Here's an article. It says 40 acres and a mule, how the first reparations for slavery ended in betrayal. Okay, let's read this and see what it says. It's from the Washington Post. All right. Okay, at 8 p.m. on January 12th, 1865, days after his march to the sea, Major General William Tecumseh Sherman met with 20 black ministers on the second floor of his headquarters in Savannah, Georgia. The Civil War would soon end, and the matter at hand that night was urgent. Sherman had called the black ministers to confer with him and President Lincoln's Secretary of War, Edwin M. Stanton. On the agenda were pressing questions, all right? And these are Republicans, okay? How would the country provide for the protection of thousands of black refugees who had followed Sherman's army since it invaded Georgia? And this was just in Georgia, okay? And this was just in Georgia because, we see the condition of Jake, Jake out here killing each other, Jake out here acting like a savage, okay? According to Hillary Clinton, all right? That was what she called Jake. But you have to understand, the Clintons, the Bidens, all right? A lot of these Edomite people, these so-called white people that you see in uh, Congress or the Senate or in the presidency of the United States, they were part of uh, this slavery system. Okay, even some people would be like, well, we were in the North. Okay, they were part of the slavery system. Okay, so in Georgia, you had a need for the protection of thousands of black refugees who had followed Sherman's army. All right, since it invaded Georgia. How would thousands of newly freed so-called black people survive economically after more than 200 years of bondage and unpaid labor? 200 years of bondage and unpaid labor. So this is Egypt again. Okay, the simple-minded Negro that doesn't see that this America is Egypt again, is Great Babylon, that is due to the fact of this damage that the so-called white man has done. Okay, you have to understand. You have people, you have a lot of, you had at this time thousands. Now you have more than, you have thousands, to this day, who you had generations of uneducated people. Generations of uneducated people. And those who had some type of knowledge of what was going on, they further, pushed you further into the sauce, okay, into Esau's sauce of slavery by telling you to go to school, So because ultimately they had nothing, they had nothing for you, man. Okay? 4 days after meeting, Sherman would issue Special Field Order number 15, confiscating Confederate land along the Rice Coast. Sherman would later order 40 acres and a mule to thousands of black families, which historians would later refer to as the first act of reparation to enslave black people. All right? But the order would be short-lived. Okay? Because Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai in Deuteronomy said, and no man shall save you. Okay? On April 14, 1865, the order would be reversed, and the land given to black families would be rescinded and returned to white Confederate landowners. More than 100 years later, 40 acres and a mule would remain a battle cry for black people demanding reparation for slavery. And so, instead of 40 acre and a mule, okay, now let's look, because you so-called black people like to feel like, like to say that, like to feel like you're, somehow, the white man, you know, like he somehow, I don't know, you see the Jake woman, she's walking down the street, and she has a white husband, and has an Edomite child. Okay, she's jumped ship. All right. Um, and the penalty for that, in the kingdom is she's going to watch, her child be destroyed, man, be killed in front of her. All right. And so, you want to see the amount of hate. All right. You want to see uh the results, okay, of what you're seeing on the news in these inner cities with these so-called black men. They're running inside of the store, 40 acres and a mule, okay, for people who had just uh and you see how the so-called Negro has still caught up and surpassed Esau, man. Okay? After being held down for 200 years, all right, the so-called Negro still has caught up and surpassed the Edomite. Okay? So just imagine at that time period, you know, 40 acres is enough. And this is what you so-called white people knew. You knew that 40 acres, okay, would ensure that the so-called black people would not need you anymore. Okay? If the so-called black people had 40 acres, you wouldn't be needed for anything, because you know uh these so-called black people knew how to work the land. Okay? 9 times out of 10, the Native Americans would have made an alliance with these people, which they were already aligned, even though you had some Native American Cherokees who owned, okay, so-called black slaves. All right. They didn't treat these slaves the way that you Edomites treated. All right. It wasn't even, a form of slavery. All right. See, what you Edomites did was you totally destroyed the will and the spirit and the minds of those earlier slaves. You broke them. Okay. You broke them. And you never fixed them. But you only broke them because Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, said that would happen. Okay? He said that they would be broken. All right? And you were the tool that was used to do that. So that was prophecy fulfilled. Okay? And people might say, oh man, that happened to anybody. Well, let's look. This is Representative John Conyers. After the passage of the Civil Liberties Act of 1988, which paid reparation to Japanese Americans forced into internment camps. Okay? So Japanese Americans that were forced into internment camps, all right, they were given reparations. And mostly all of the people, whether, and none of them served slavery for 200 years. So this subject is something that should infuriate the mind of you so-called Negroes, because you are being played for a motherfucking fool, all right, to this minute. Okay? Your mother, your father, they're not going to come out and say that, they've been taken for a motherfucking fool. All right? But this so-called white man is taking you for a motherfucking fool, man. All right? And then putting you on the news and, trying to defame you individuals and, they are the reason. This is what their policy, the Democrats, those two horns, all right? This is what the Democrats and the Republicans, all right, are about, okay? Keeping you down. That is their policy. That's why you were not given 40 acres and a mule, because you were too advanced. Okay? They understand how advanced you are. Imagine that, okay? 40 acres. And, imagine the wealth, the business. Jake is not a cutthroat like Esau in doing business. Jake learned all of this cutthroat shit from the so-called white man. Okay? All of this underhanded business, dealing, Jake learned that from Esau. Jake didn't do whenever Jake did business, he did square business, okay? Fair and square business. Okay? But now he's been exposed to this low-level Edomite, and so he's acting like this low-level Edomite. Okay? And so Esau, okay? Let me read this real quick. All right? Something just crossed my mind. Sorry, I stopped at what I was just saying, but this is just to bring up to support the what I said about these members of Congress. Okay? It says, among the ministers were John Cox, 58, enslaved in Savannah until he bought his freedom for $1,100. William Gaines, 41, born in Georgia, an enslaved person owned by former U.S. Senator Robert Toombs until the Union forces freed me. All right? The ministers had chosen as their spokesman the Reverend Garrison Fraser, 67, who had purchased his own freedom along with his wife's 8 years earlier for 1,000 in gold and silver. See, he was using real money. Sherman and Stanton asked Fraser what he understood about slavery and Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation. Slavery is receiving by irresistible power the work of another man, and not by his consent, Fraser explained. The freedom, as I understand it, promised by the proclamation, is taking us from under the yoke of bondage, and placing us where we could reap the fruit of our own labor, take care of ourselves, and assist the government in maintaining our freedom. Sherman and Stanton asked Fraser how he thought the newly freed black people could best take care of themselves. His answer would remain one of the most eloquent arguments for reparations in 156 years. The way we can best take care of ourselves is to have land and turn it and till it by our own labor. Okay, and this is scriptural. Okay? Okay, this is what was supposed to happen. This is scriptural. So you Edomites, you damn devils, man. You got a lot to pay for. Okay, you took the Bible in your hand, all right, to try to justify a lot of things during slavery. Okay? It says, until it by our own labor, that is, by the labor of the woman and the children and the old men, and we can soon maintain ourselves and have something to spare. There you go. And when that Edomite heard that, okay, Fraser added, we want to be placed on land until we are able to buy it and make it our own. Okay? To ask them what they want for themselves. All right? Okay, so 4 days after that meeting, Sherman seized the coastline from Charleston, South Carolina to St. John River, Florida, according to the Library of Congress. The island from Charleston south, the abandoned rice fields along the rivers for 30 miles back from the sea, and the country bordering the St. Johns River, Florida, are reserved and set apart for the settlement of the Negroes now made free by the acts of war and the proclamation of the President of the United States, Sherman ordered. Okay? And so in the next few months, thousands of black people traveled to the shores and began working the land. But those dreams were short-lived. On May 29th, President Andrew Johnson, okay, issued an amnesty proclamation according to the National Archives, So, just coming up and saying that, one Edomite is good, okay? None of these Edomites are good, man. All right? So what these Jakes pretty much did was went down to Florida and Georgia and South Carolina and cleared out all of that land. Okay? By the later part of 1865, thousands of free people were abruptly evicted from the land that had been distributed to them. Okay? With no exception of a small number who had legal land titles. Free people removed from the land as a result of President Johnson's restoration program. Thousands of black people left without land were eventually forced into sharecropping and peonage. Okay? And that's where you are now, man. You go to work every day, you're a sharecropper. You're peon, man. All right? Okay? And so we jump ahead to today. All right. You know, you have this credit system. All right. Now, this credit system was created in 1956. All right. But now you have, this FICO score, and and Esau has given himself the advantage. Okay, even though they say that the credit system is unbiased. Okay, that they started something to keep it unbiased. Uh, you know, you could still see that it is biased. All right, and so yeah, man. Okay, the so-called white man. All right, Esau Edom. Okay, has made it. That's where you get red line. You have red line, and you have all of this, all of these things happening, so that Jake does not ever own a large portion of land that he will be able to work that land and make money from. Okay, you are to work, labor, and be paid for the labor that you do. Okay, you're not to own land and operate as your own business entity. Okay, you are to forever be in peonage. Okay, under the so-called white man. All right, sharecropping. Okay, under the so-called white man, you jump up, you go to the post office, you jump up, you go to the grocery store to work. You know, and you're happy about that. A lot of you Jakes are happy about this lifestyle. Okay, but that lifestyle, just like this, this lifestyle of wanting, Jake shooting the next guy that's rapping. All right, and ultimately it's the Most High Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, that's killing you rappers. Who shot you? All right, separate the wheat. All right, the, the Most High shot you. All right, took your ass out of here. So with that being said, I just wanted to shed some light, okay? Because now you're gonna have these Edomites who will be, whether now or in the future, who will be demonizing the Hebrew Israelites. They will be calling them. We don't call ourselves Black Hebrew Israelites. They will be calling us Black Hebrew Israelites. Okay, saying that we sponsor or either are part of uh, Homeland Terror. Okay, so this is just something to look out for. Um, hey man, hey, these scriptures are speaking loud, man. Okay, these scriptures are definitely speaking loud. So again, look up redlining. Look up, when was the FICO, the credit system created? Okay, it was all created so that you so-called blacks would be the borrower and Esau would be the one who is lending to you. So with that being said, I'm going to end it. And until next time, Shalom.